Hi. A recent Sunday night movie was the rip-roaring action-adventure Royal Flash, directed by Richard Lester and based on the book by George McDonald Fraser. It's the second in a series of books about the character of Flashman, originally introduced in Tom Brown's School Days as the school bully. He reappears in the first Flashman novel, now an adult, still a bully, still an inveterate coward, sleeping and cowering his way to the top and convincing everyone that he's a great military hero. Fraser wrote a whole string of books over the course of, I think, over 30 years or so, of Flashman's various adventures in Victoriana. And Royal Flash is somewhat unceremoniously a rip-off of The Prisoner of Zenda, where Flashman is roped into a scheme to impersonate an Archduke of some long-forgotten Central European duchy and help Otto von Bismarck, played in the film by Oliver Reed, playing it worryingly straight, to help usurp the throne. Flashman and his double are both played by Malcolm McDowell, who weirdly was actually a very big star at the time, and one doesn't associate him with period drama or comedy, but he has a real knack for visual slapstick. But he doesn't quite convince as the upper-class cad, the ultimate bounder. In a recent podcast, I was discussing this, has probably come up fairly soon, that the perfect person to take the role would have been Ian Ogilvy, best known for playing the Saint in Return of the Saint, but he played the Flashman character in the Ripping Yarns parody of Tom Brown's School Days with Michael Palin and Terry Jones, so he would have been perfect, as he has the bounderness and the comedy chops to play the character. The film itself is pretty enjoyable. I watched it in several pieces over a couple of weeks, but it's generally pretty lightweight. Lester had previously worked on The Three Musketeers and The Four Musketeers with Oliver Reed again, and the tone is very much lightweight, anachronistic feeling, but not actually breaking the reality of the period in terms of style. But it just doesn't quite sit correctly. The plot's a bit too disjointed. There are lots of characters thrown in here and there and everywhere, and although it is pretty entertaining overall, it's not great. I've only read one of the Flashman books, and it was actually not this one. It was one set in China, and I found it pretty enjoyable. The problem, from a filmmaking point of view, is that they're written in the first person by Flashman himself, which means that a lot of the attitudes in them probably wouldn't translate to film today. With Royal Flash, the advantage is it's all set in Europe. Any sexual references that would feel now to be out of date will say, well, they're of their time, and there's no one who isn't white, so that's kind of avoids that question entirely. The book that I read is set in China and is deliberately very racist, because Flashman is incredibly racist and it's Victorian times. McDonald Fraser isn't racist, he knows everything about everything. He's very respectful of other cultures, and was even drafted into co-write a James Bond film because he knows so much about India. So whether or not the Flashman books would work as feature films is probably that they wouldn't. So this was the safest bet to see if it would work, and it doesn't quite. It could have, but unfortunately not with the ingredients they had to use.